Hello everyone, Scrappy Kathy here with a mixed media frenzy, and I am indeed in a frenzy. I have an absolutely brand new lighting and camera holder system, and I'm sitting in a different place at my table and I have to arrange things differently on the table. So what I hope is that everything ends up on camera and that the lighting is good. And the next reason for my frenzy is this is the sketch, and I have no idea what I'm going to do with it. I have some stencils out, some washi tape, a background paper, some clear gesso to put on the background so that I can add additional wet media. I've got some washi tape that kind of looks like this, and I've cut a triangle of wood grain paper, which I think will look nice against the very busy geometric print background that I have. And before I cut off the branding strip, let me tell you, this is a Bella Boulevard paper. It's the one that you get, a bonus sheet that you get when you buy the collection pack. And this particular collection is popsicles and pandas. And I'm going to, ooh, look how cute the branding strip is. I'll save that. Okay, so I think that's the last thing I'm gonna have to cut with my trimmer, so I'll put it off to the side. Let me do the, well actually, well, no, that's the modeling paste. I have a variety, what I see from this is that there are a number of patterns and things are going off at angles from the framed photo. There's some labels sticking out, there's some long strips there, some arrows here, some ink splotches and so forth. I don't know that I'm going to get that exact arrangement of things. I've got my photo here, I've got a color version of it and a black and white version kind of backing it, and I'm going to group some embellishments around so that this doesn't have those hard corners. And it's a back in the day when we were just goofy, and the colors and the patterns seem appropriate to the goofy glasses we were trying on at one of those specialty novelty shops. I think it might have been Claire's actually. Okay, so I'm going to put that there. I'm going to just kind of swash all of this. I think that the stuff that I'm going to use, I'm going to stand up real quick and look at my, look at this. If I keep things at or above my blue tape line, it seems like you can see what I'm doing all the way up to the top. Well, maybe not all the way up to the top. So I'll have to bring it down when I'm working at the top. So eventually I'll get this right. Now, with this, since this medium can act as glue, I'm going to go ahead and let it glue down this this piece of wood grain paper that kind of defines the angles that I'll be using for the triangular elements, if you will. So I'm going to bring the medium over this to give it a, maybe you see some brush strokes. It'll give it kind of an artsy look, like it might have been painted on. I have no idea if that's actually true, but let's that's my story and I'm sticking to it. It has really brought out the wood grain. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but I can see it up close. Okay, so that's, well, I'll keep that open a little bit. What I'm going to do next is define that main kind of line there, and it goes down, it stops at the line of the triangle there. Let me actually bring up, well, no, I don't want to do that. I'll bring up this so I can lay this on it. This is multicolor, and it's a lot of the same colors, maybe even exactly the same colors as those in the chevron pattern paper. And if they're not exactly the same, there's enough similarity that I think it's going to work. This is the angle it needs to go at. I'm going to just let it kind of stop right there. And I love that the background paper pattern shows through it. I'm going to tear it. Here's where I'm actually going to put a protective mat over, and we'll see. I just don't want to get that on my cutting mat. Okay. I'm hoping that this goes fairly quickly after I make the mixed media decisions. Okay, there, that ends there, and I'm going to just let it end there. There's another piece that shows going down here. I'm gonna try to find aha. Here is a pattern that might work. Okay, I'm gonna cut something going this way. I'm not sure which. I was wrong that I was finished using my trimmer. I'm gonna cut about a 2-inch okay, it doesn't matter which side I go to. I just have to get it under there. Let's see, 2 inches. Is that big enough? I'm going to go 2.5. I normally don't use so much paper or any on a mixed media layout, but this one kind of requires it. I tell you what I'm gonna do. It doesn't match up. I didn't run this exactly along those lines, but it's close enough for government work. I'm gonna put this down with tape runner. I can't lose my tweezers. I'll need to put tweezers. What I've got here is my little basket of Calvinball points. I'm gonna put this in here. And then I'll cut it off with the trimmer. And then I'll see if there's a way I can use the piece I'm cutting off somewhere else to kind of add to the geometric okay, let's see, what am I coming down on here? this. It's not happy with that. I'm still gonna press it down and trim it. The kind of frustrating thing about this one was that there wasn't much I could do ahead of time. Let's see. In the original, it looks like there's a triangle sticking up kind of at the top of the frame. Let me see if I can place my frame on there and see if this would fit in any way. Maybe do something like this. That would actually work. I kind of like that. Let me cut this off. And that gets all the colors that are in that particular pattern paper. I can kind of put that down there, and I'll cut the rest of that off. Now here, let me get this. Okay, so we have, this one I may just do with scissors. So we have do that one as neatly as I would have hoped. And I have this little triangle that I might be able to use somewhere, so I'm going to just keep it handy. Okay, now what I want to do now, the wet work I was talking about, is with the stencils I have here. I have a variety of them. Let me see if I can bring them into camera focus. I've got this one that I thought I might use here and kind of let it radiate. This doesn't in any way mimic anything in the original, but I wanted to add some texture and some, it seems like some white texture paste might, soften something, some of these colors, and it might decrease the contrast that you see with this dark wood grain paper. In other words, it might unify that paper with the rest of the composition. So we'll see how well that works. And I will tell you that whatever happens here is what it is. And I'm gonna go on from that point. I've got a couple of other stencils that I thought I might use in other areas. Oops, I'm getting some texture paste on the edge of the page. But this is a mixed media layout, so it's supposed to be a mess, right? Okay. So that's not too bad. Okay, let me wipe this guy off. I'm gonna move this over here. I'm gonna kind of set that up. I'll wipe this guy off. Because I think I'm going to use a different texture paste with another stencil. And I don't have my little tub of water. So I'll use a baby wipe. John, could you take this into the kitchen and rinse it up for me? Okay. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so I clean this off. And now, maybe right in, let's see, this area, I'll do it right here, and maybe I'll tape off on top of the stencil where I want this to stop. I want it to be a triangular shape, and I might need to turn it around. Okay. I can do that. This is painter's tape, and it has a nasty habit of sticking to pattern paper and kind of pulling it up, and so I'm hoping it doesn't do that. Now, I want to use one of these. These are brand new Vicky Bouton texture paste. I love this Juicy Pear, and I want to do it. This is part of the new Let's Wander collection. I'm gonna again do it over the background pattern paper and also the other. Let's see if I can maybe get that a little bit lighter on there. I really don't want to when I used this before, I had it a little too thick, I think, and it bled under the stencil, and this stencil is bridging a couple layers of paper. So this may well be messed up, and in that case, I'll just use lots of Calvinball points to cover it up. But I think I've added another super busy, super loud, super vibrant. Let's see, let's use vibrant instead of loud. I think I'm done with stencils. I'm gonna toss those aside. Make sure my little remote control doesn't get hit. Let me make sure that it's still recording because I did touch it. Does look like it's recording. So let's do this. I'm going to try to lift the stencil up and hope the... Okay. There is some bleeding But like I said, I can do some work with that. Okay, I'll put that stencil aside. I don't like it, but once I get the photo cluster on there, it's going to go right here. And add some embellishments around there. It'll just kind of become part of the background. So I told you I was a little unsure about this. And this is a case I actually, last night did a, or this morning I guess, did a more minimalist layout using fewer Calvinball points just to have some relief from all of the embellishing that I've been doing, and that's kind of a natural tendency of mine, is to over embellish, and I usually like that. I happily claim that as my style. But lately it has kind of seemed to go over the top because of Calvinball. Okay, I cut this piece of acetate from a Bella Boulevard clear cut from the Star Student collection. And I just kind of did some fussy cutting through, getting some words on there that didn't necessarily have anything to do with school. Okay, and I just kind of want to let these things come out randomly. I didn't want to cover the globe or the heart or those, there's an arrow somewhere, because those get me Calvinball points. And of course, you don't want to cover up Calvinball points. I'm not going to glue this down. I'm hoping that the photo and the other embellishments that I glue over it and on the edges of it kind of work for that. Now, I noticed at the corner of the layout, there are these narrow strips. Okay, that's moving. I am gonna glue this down. I'm gonna do that, and then it shouldn't move, so my photo cluster shouldn't move. And I hate to press that down. Use this to kind of push on it and burnish it. Okay, so I think that's there, and I'm aware that this is wet and that's wet, but I'm going to try to go forward anyway. One of the features was this kind of collection of labels there, and I've got these from a, I don't know if it's a Heidi Swap collection, and they're not exactly the same color yellow. I have something else that's kind of a dull-ish color. I'm gonna go ahead and use these. This one has this kind of ticket perforated sort of edge. And the other edge is has a wider yellow border. So I'm going to kind of cover that one up. My idea is to layer these kind of wonky like that so that you get a kind of a banner look out of that one. And I have a real ticket here. This is a ticket from a prize drawing from a totally different event, but it is memorabilia and it's the right color. So I am going to use it here. Let me see if I can find some foam to prop it up on. Let's put this back up here. I hopefully won't need that anytime soon. Kind of lay that in over top of those. And then I can use these as platforms for embellishing. Okay, I think I've got the wild, certainly the spirit of that going. I noticed that they've kind of found some twine around. I'm going to take some of this twine off this little spool and kind of bunch it and tuck it here under this, the frame. I will lift the frame and kind of put a dab of glue there and kind of just squish this under with my finger and let it catch what it catches, where it catches it. And that, the color of that twine intentionally kind of doesn't really show up a whole lot there. So that's kind of what I want. This is a picture of me with Katybug, and we call her Katybug, and I put ladybugs on all of her layouts. I'm going to do this one there so it kind of hides the edge of that photo. We were on a shopping trip after attending her brother's football game. He was in an all-star football game in Elizabethtown, Kentucky, and I bet Melody Ruley, if she's watching, knows exactly where that stadium is. So I kind of put a little football there as a, yes, it's a Calvinball point, but it's also, it also makes sense given the event. And it's near the ticket, so you might be erroneously led to believe that that was a ticket from that football game, and it really wasn't. Okay, there's a little bit of lace for a Calvinball point, and there's a spot over here that needs something to kind of cover that edge, edge of the lace that sticks out, or the end of it rather. So I'm going to move that and kind of glue that lace down with this butterfly. Okay, I think I'm done with labels and tags. Actually, I need a tab. Do I need a tab? Do I have a tab? I don't have a tab, but if I cut this label in half, it kind of becomes a tab. And I'm going to stick it back here behind this black and white photo. Okay, the black and white photo is over there, down, kind of touching that texture paste. So it's absorbing a little moisture, and that may or may not be good for it. I've got that. Don't really need that. Kind of put those aside. I've used everything in this type of category that I need. I like this. It's a banner and an arrow, but I have a banner. Yeah, let me kind of put that out here. I need an arrow, so why not use this? Maybe put it here and off at an angle, and then I'll put some tiny small sort of thing. How about a green button? It's a punched button, and I punched over to a torn edge of the paper. And it's hitting the foam. You know what? If I let the torn edge show, then it satisfies the point requirement for paper tearing. Okay, let me get this guy. I've got a sloth here. I'm gonna do, because Katie was so much younger when this photo was taken and we're kind of goofing off, I feel okay doing the kind of whimsical embellishments here. The last one was a little bit different. It was also a Katie page. I'm doing lots of Katie pages because I'm feeling really bad that she's going to miss so many events in her senior year. I still remember and treasure a lot of the senior year activities. We've got a fairy there, a couple of coffee cups, maybe sneak that in. This doesn't cover up anything important on that black and white photo, so that kind of works. And it's got yellow and red, which are, there's no red in the background paper, but there is in this accent paper, I guess you might call it. I've got a sunshine, a die cut and stitched sun. That's in polka dot paper. That's required, or not required, but it gets me a point in Calvinball. So there's that. I've got a dragon, and I'm just thinking the dragon might work here, kind of tucked under the butterfly and propped up on that frame. Okay, done with that sheet of foam dots. I'll pull out a couple others here and we'll see. I want to use this little bit of foam tape on this really small dinosaur. And where will I put the dinosaur? Maybe right here, also by the butterfly. So we have a beautiful gold foil vellum butterfly, and it's kind of backed by a dragon and a dinosaur. I have a gnome, and the gnome might fit in nicely right there. I'll put him on a couple dots. Oops, I got some, I got some of the medium on the mat here, and my gnome is printed on glossy photo paper, So I might put him here. There we go. Oh, that covers up the words "so cool." And I like the "so cool" because we look cool in those glasses, and I'm not going to let you tell me we don't. I'll do this. I have a couple things that need to, like for instance, I have an upside down panda bear that is only partially there. So I have to scooch him into this side. I'm going to do that right there. And he's got a little, he's on his, is it eucalyptus, or is it pandas that like eucalyptus, or is that koalas? Anyway, he's on a tree branch and there's a tiny little ladybug there. Okay, I've got this stethoscope, which is a nod to the coronavirus. This is this page kind of may end up being sort of like, you know, back in the days, you know, way back when we didn't know about or worry about coronavirus. This is a half of an avocado, and I need to kind of tuck him in over here by the gnome, maybe. A gnome and an avocado should work. Okay, I need an envelope, and what I have been doing is drawing the envelope on paper and doodling it, and then putting it on as an embellishment. I've got this, I cut this from a page in here. It's a lot of clear stickers, a clear sticker book from Maggie Holmes' Sunny Days. And I really like this, and it seemed like something that if I put it on the page, it would kind of just look like something that was printed on the background. See how that kind of, I hope you can see it. It just kind of looks like it's just something that was printed on there. Somewhat like this looks like it was stamped. Okay, I have a tiny, tiny little frog. I'm gonna do a dab of glue here and let the frog be right here by the ladybug, which seems kind of appropriate, except the ladybug is 10 times the size of the frog, and it's usually maybe the other way around. Okay, I have an elephant. I'm not sure. I cut the elephant. Oh, okay, I've got a cuter elephant. This elephant I was going to use if I didn't use wood grain anywhere else. I wanted to get my wood grain point. So I'll put that aside. I've got this cute little elephant that I've had for a while. It's possibly my oldest supply on this page. And I may just put him right here on the photo and let him kind of curl up. The lime green kind of goes with the texture paste I used right there. I've got this metal camera, and I might put it here so that it somewhat overlaps this whole cluster of things here. I have a race car that doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense. I'm going to let it kind of tuck in to this area right here and kind of look like it's running into the gnome, right? The gnome is on foam dots, and I'll just put the race car there. As you can see, I'm just trying to gather everything into this cluster. I have a bit of bling that I wanted to add, maybe out here. I have a small I don't have any flowers on here, and so let me pull. I have a tray that it has a lot of Calvinball points, including some fussy cut flower clusters. Okay, I kind of like this one from, this is from Cocoa Vanilla Studios, and this one is from Paige Evans' Horizon, and I kind of like it, and I'm gonna kind of group it there. That's good. And what I'd like to do is put the let me do that on there. What I want to do is put the brad, there's a brad point, so I want to put the brad in as the flower center. So then I can put a, let me see, a larger enamel dot. That's there. I also need a pineapple, and I thought maybe I could work a pineapple in over here somewhere to kind of balance this. I love all the colors now that that I've put all the embellishments in. Let's see, I have this to-do clip. Let me find a pineapple. I have this little stack of pineapples that might work here. Yeah, that doesn't look bad. I actually wasn't sure I'd like that, but I kind of can have the pineapples coming right out of the little dinosaur. Okay, I'm going to call this done. I will probably add some journaling in strips right around in here. I need to use an enamel dot. What's a good enamel dot color? Oh, I've got this, oh, you know what? Do I have any purple? I do have a purple dragon. So instead of purple, I'm gonna go with this green. I'm gonna do a variety of greens. I don't wanna do it up here in my journaling area. I'll put one there and one down here. One here, a little bit different color, green. I'll just kind of put green enamel dots all around the place. Let's see, we need one up here. I'm gonna do a tiny one. Okay, so I think got all the Calvinball points on there that I need. I will do the journaling strip, and I hope you enjoyed it. Oops, that shouldn't happen. I need the glue to dry because this metal camera will not attach any other way. I did, with the camera, cover up the torn part of the button, so I can't claim torn paper unless I find a spot to sneak in some torn paper. Where's some paper that I could tear? I've got this cute little guy. There's some green polka dotted paper here. I can tear it like this and put a little glue on it, and then I can go hunting for a place to put it. Where could it go? Maybe right in here underneath this. Man, that adds a little unexpected color there. It doesn't really, but you know, from a design standpoint, I can say that. Okay, I think I'm done, and I appreciate your patience with me as I try to get this new setup. I have no idea whether I was on camera because unlike my previous setup, I actually can't see what's happening. I intend to use a second device to actually watch it as I'm filming. I think that's doable, but I haven't done that yet, so I just got the lamp put together today. So thank you again for watching. This is a very different mixed media frenzy, but it was fun adding the mixed media to the rest of the pattern and color that's going on here, and I don't hate it. So talk with you later. Thanks again for watching. Let me find my remote so I can actually turn it off.